Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Nintendo Talk. And this is a very special episode with my boy JoAfterWork. What is up, Joe? How you doing?
Good, man. I'm dude. Whew. This has been crazy.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It has been. You know what, though? When I mean, you know, because you did the E3 one that I did, the E3 prediction show for Nintendo Talk. And so when I did that, it's very, very well received. Your episode in particular did really well. I'm just going to tell you. So I was like, I'm going to keep doing this. We're going to make this a thing. We're going to keep doing it. And then I was like, who do I bring back for this one? I was like, Joe likes some weird stuff. So let's bring Joe in, because Joe's going to have stuff that nobody's really thinking. And probably have some Castlevania stuff built into Zelda. And I'm going to have to tell him no. But, you know, we'll see. We'll have some Resident Evil stuff built in somehow. And, you know.
What's wrong with these things?
There's a lot of things wrong. There's a lot wrong with this. You know this, but anyway.
Oh, man.
But real quickly, before we jump into everything, let everybody know where they can find you at.
Yeah, twitch.tv/JoAfterWork. Probably the best way to find me. I'm there pretty much every day, 8 p.m. to midnight, aside from Sundays and Wednesdays. We meme around. We have a good time. We talk crap to each other, and, you know, in a friendly way, nothing too harsh. But
all I do is, this is what I do. I come in to say hello. I wait for Joe to flip out, acknowledge me, and then I give it like 5 minutes. I'm like, all right, I'm out, and I leave. It's the best part of the show.
That's
just watching him flip out and say my name and lose his stuff. That's the best part of the show. The rest, trash. You don't need to hear for the rest.
Bobby just wants to hear his name.
That's all it is. I just want to see where I want to see him. When you used to fight Reggie, that was something special. Special.
Reggie.
Still,
wherever you are.
My favorite was when you used to show for Miyamoto and all that stuff. That, to this day, is still the best.
I just recently found that GIF again in my folders. I was like, where has this been? I've been trying to find like that one because it fits perfectly in my stream. So that's amazing. Coming back. It's coming
amazing.
back.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's a GIF of like Miyamoto, Reggie, and Iwata, right?
Iwata's there, and I think the previous president,
Kimishima,
from like yeah. No. From like God,
he's not there.
90s?
No.
Late 90s? Isn't that him in the other one? Anyway,
whatever. They're riding in the car. They're all thugged out. They got like big chains and stuff. And then like Joe like turns his seat perfectly, and it looks like he's driving the car. And he's like bouncing with him. Oh,
taking it back.
It is hilarious, man. It is the best. The best was I didn't even realize one day you yell at Miyamoto for spilling something on you, like spilling juice on you or something.
Yeah, and they all got beer cups.
Yeah, it is so hilarious. Like, you gotta go just for that. That is the best.
Oh my
so
God.
when you do go to Joe's stream, say that. Say, Joe, I need to see you drive Miyamoto around, and then he'll know what you're talking about, and then he'll just
got you next time.
He'll just go right into a shtick, and it is the best. You gotta see it. So anyway, let's kick this episode off like we do each and every episode with Joe's Geek Outs. So Joe, why don't you tell the people, what are you geeking out about today?
Oh my gosh. First off, shout out to Gato Roboto. Underrated. But what I really want to geek out about, Bloodstain. Come on. You already mentioned Castlevania already, like 2 seconds in. I have to bring it up.
I know.
It dropped. Quick story. I bought this on Steam because I was too impatient to wait for the Switch version. I didn't realize I pre-ordered this a long time ago, and I got the notification mid-stream last night, and I go, what the hell is this? I didn't pre-order anything. I haven't even pre-ordered Super Mario Maker 2 yet. I'm just going to pick it up on Friday.
Oh, boy.
And then I look at the Best Buy app, because I got it on my phone, and I'm like, oh, when the hell did I pre-order this? I was like, crap, what do I do? Do I keep it? Do I not? So I'm going to do a comparison video so far, but I am loving the game so far.
I'm hearing the Switch version might not be that good.
So yeah, there's some graphical hiccups from what I'm hearing and some bugs. But I was on Twitter a little bit before this, and 505 or Play Arts, I forget who runs that Bloodstained Twitter account.
Yeah,
they did like a 4-page tweet out like, hey, listen, we're working on it. We hear everybody. We're on it. We're gonna try to make this as optimal as possible. So I appreciate that they responded as quickly as they did.
Good. That's good. I don't understand how they even shipped it like that. Like, you knew it was that bad.
I don't understand how they shipped this steel case with a plastic Switch cartridge that's, slap me in the face right now.
You need to tweet about that one, because that's bad. That's just bad. That's not even.
This is a late April Fool's joke.
That's horrible. Seriously. Anyway, I'm interested in the game. I am interested in the game. I did like Curse of the Moon. I felt like that was
awesome.
Really good. So it's got me a little. Now I will say this. So this has been a weird tale for me with Bloodstained, where when I first saw it, my hype levels were through the roof. Then it got about midway through production, and it just nosedived because they messed up the art and everything. Like, it just looked bad. It started to turn into Mighty Number 9. And because I remember being at Next Level Games, Nick Militia, and me and Miguel were talking about it. We were all like excited. And he's like, have you guys seen this thing? Like, it's pretty bad, man. I'm like, no. Ooh. And then I went and he started showing me footage. I'm like, what happened to the game? And then, if you remember, a couple of months ago, Igarashi came out and did a trailer where he showed, like, we heard your complaints, we've addressed them, we fixed them, and they fixed the game. So, we'll see.
I think that's what Way Forward was there for.
Yeah.
The design. They have art designers, like, oh my god, those Shantae games always look amazing. Yeah. I have a feeling they had something to do with that when they jumped on board to finish up.
Yeah, probably so. They probably got in there and kind of just adjusted some things and fixed some things.
Mm-hmm.
So, Joe, today we are going to dip into a little Breath of the Wild 2. And we've been doing this series now we are now, as we're recording this, we've just started the series on YouTube and on the podcasting streams. But your episode will actually be like kicking in week 2.
Okay.
So you're basically the second round of all this. And, we're doing approximately 10 days of coverage on this. So we got some great YouTubers, some great podcasters that are jumped in. If I'm not mistaken, the way this lines up, the episode just before you, Bill from Run Jump Stomp.
Bill.
Yeah,
Bill.
He was in there. And then I have to actually record later tonight with Lloyd from Nintendo Pulse. I don't know if you know Lloyd. He actually works, and he does Stadia Cast with Bill as well.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm excited because we have some good people. I think Miss Click is also going to come in because she's a huge Breath of the Wild fan. So we got some good stuff. She said she'll jump in. It's just a matter of if she actually does it or not. We'll see.
Nice.
I'm hoping. My fingers are crossed. So, but anyway, the idea here is that we go in, you give me 5 things that you want to see in Breath of the Wild 2, whether it be like things you bring over or things that are all new or things you want fixed or whatever it might be. So,
okay.
And then we'll discuss, just like we did the E3 show. But let's start off. What is the first thing besides Simon Belmont that you want to see in Breath of the Wild 2?
I want this to tie in with Smash. No, I am absolutely kidding. Okay, first thing, I'm going to talk story-wise. This is all going to be off the top of the dome, by the way. I did not come in writing down anything.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Here we go. This is going to get fun.
Yeah.
No, I think they'll be good. I think you'll like these. Okay. First thing, story-wise, this is something that goes back to early P&P that we did. I want the sequel to happen, first off. Mm-hmm. Secondly, with the way the story is being structured and all the rumors going around, I want them to find a way to explain how the timelines converge. Mm-hmm. I don't think we'll get it in this one. Mm-hmm. but I hope that
Wait,
it is.
When you say
alluded
timelines,
to.
are you talking about timelines for all of Zelda? You're not just talking about between Breath of the Wild 1 and 2. You want to know
No,
like how this ties into like Wind Waker and
I want to know how the hell that's at the very bottom as the last game and creating this brand new story and this brand new branch. Something with all the references that you see within Breath of the Wild's Hyrule.
mm-hmm.
There's everything in there. You have stuff from where he dies era, like references in there. You have the middle timeline, you have the Wind Waker timeline and all that stuff. Like all that's in there.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was intentional to actually like come up with something or if that was just kind of thrown in their hodgepodge and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But they have a chance now to explain that and kind of meld everything together and create something linear for Zelda. And like, here it is. Here's a fresh story. This is where we're going to pick up from here on out, and that is it. And they have a chance to just wind it all together.
See, I feel like the idea of what Zelda, the story is, still just holds true. Where it's a young boy who just has his time, and every so often evil comes in to try to take over, and he just rises up from within a tribe or whatever it might be and goes off and saves the world. I feel like that's still kind of true, but what I kind of think might wind up happening here is, because I don't think this is the final Breath of the Wild we get. I think ultimately we'll probably get a Breath of the Wild 3. And that being said, like, I think that what their game plan is to probably tinker a little bit and make this more or less turn into like a retelling of old stories with a new sheen, a new art style, and all that. Meaning, for me, and I said this to Toby in the first week that we did this, I told Toby what I would like to see is this Breath of the Wild is Zelda 1, this kind of take over the Zelda 2 storyline, and then Breath of the Wild 3 takes on a Link to the Past storyline where you have the dark world and the light world, and you kind of back and forth. But because I don't see, and I'll be honest with you, I don't see them acknowledging other timelines here.
It's a pipe dream.
Yeah, I know. Well, and that's fine. I mean, this is what you want, and and that's what this is all about. I'm not trying to rain on what you want. I'm just saying what my mind is. I don't see them doing that because they've never done that. They've never been like, hey, this is where this lines up. I mean, we have exactly. Later on, they might throw it in a book and go like, okay,
here's what we were trying to create.
Yeah, Hyrule Historia basically is like, this is what the timeline's supposed to be. But this, I think ultimately when everything's said and done, this is kind of its own retelling of old stories. And I think to cap that off, it all really depends upon what the story is coming out of this one. We don't know. We still don't know what the story is. We've seen a minute and a half trailer.
Yeah,
that's not really telling you much. You know what I mean? Like, because I'll be honest with you,
there's a lot in that minute and a half trailer.
There's a lot in the minute and a half trailer, but let's be fair. If you remember back when they revealed Breath of the Wild at the Switch reveal, and they showed that big trailer, right? And that was the hype trailer. That was that was the trailer that made me go, how am I going to sit here for 2 months waiting for this console to come out and play that game when all I know is I want it now. Like, I don't want to see no more. Give me the game now. Give me the console now. Let's go. And it was the longest 2 months of my life. So for me, I feel like what they showed us in that trailer, though, kind of threw me off. I totally didn't expect Breath of the Wild to be the game from that trailer. The game we got, I really wasn't seeing that. I just felt it was a totally different thing with Zelda and Link and all that.
I'll save it for the next one because it'll be my second thing that I want to add on there. But yeah, to add on to what you're saying, I hope that this is because the biggest criticism, and I'll say it too, like looking back at it in hindsight now, 2 years from when I originally played it, there was story there.
Oh, there was so much story.
You had to really dig in, and I don't think I know the hardcore us like went in and found all the photos to connect the pieces to the story.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that haven't,
yes.
or if they haven't, they looked it up, and if they haven't looked it up, they don't know. I would like them to put in a core story into this game that kind of follows up on something in between all these things, other than just go to said area, go do dungeon. Here's this little thing right here, sort of situation. Yeah. I would like for them to include cutscenes midway, explain, like have a fully fleshed out story, and this cutscene seems promising to that.
Yeah. Well, and for those that are maybe a little off of what Joe said, the memories is what he's getting on.
Yeah.
The memories before kind of were, and this is only to those who haven't played. We're not going to spoil anything, so don't get scared. But in theory, the memories were bits and pieces of the story that were scattered throughout that had no meaning for the next story you were going to hear. As you would go find them, they kind of just they were their own pieces. Yeah. Essentially. It wasn't like if you saw the one, you need to go see a particular one at another time. It was just like whatever. They were just random moments in time.
Moments in time that led up to something else.
Yeah. And I feel like it's very difficult for them to tell a story in an open world atmosphere like they're doing, unless you do the memories. Like, I don't know how you tell that story otherwise. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, ultimately, let's be fair. Zelda games are not really heavily story-driven like Skyward Sword was. I do know that, because I played enough of Skyward Sword to fall in love with the story I was getting, but I just couldn't do it. I couldn't push through anymore. I had to stop. That being said, I feel like we could get a better telling of the story with this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that again looks terrifying.
Immediately, you start thinking Resident Evil. See, here we go, Joe. Here we go.
I'm
just saying, that's where your head's going. I
was going towards the memes.
Yeah.
Hydrated again.
What is your second thing?
My second thing is the ability to play as Zelda.
Okay.
I think that cutscene, and this goes back to that same. I gotta go back and find a number. I'll see if I can find which episode. I'll let you know so you can freaking go back. But like, how the first one, was Zelda holding Ganondorf in place, Ganon in place. She's finally free after these 100 years of holding him sealed up and everything.
Yeah.
Now she's free. She's running around with Link in this cave, which it seems like, I guess it's the depths of Hyrule Castle is what it seems like.
That's what it seems like, but we don't know.
Yeah. Like nothing's confirmed yet.
Yeah.
And so you're with him. I wonder if there's either going to be the option to like alternately play as Zelda or be able to different paths sort of situation where like, okay, sometimes you're gonna play as Link, sometimes you're gonna play as Zelda, or they're together and one's doing one thing and that allows for multiplayer or something, solve puzzles. So
my question for you is, let's say that they do give us Zelda, and just so you know where things are. This is a running theme throughout the shows that I've done so far. This seems to be one that almost everybody brings up. So that being said, my question to you is, because I'm privy to know what other people have said, but it makes me curious what you think.
Yeah.
So how does this work for you? Does it work in like a Joel and Ellie type style where they're together all the time and one just flicks off and on occasionally, or is it one where you are controlling a character? Like, we'll go Uncharted, where like you control Nathan Drake for a while, and then all of a sudden you might control Sully for a little while, and then it goes back to Nathan Drake. Like, or is it just like you pick the character you want to be, and that's who you are, and that's it? Like, in your mind's eye, what's the ideal way for you to play as Zelda?
So, ideal way for me, and it's funny, you're joking about me with Resident Evil. I'm actually going to bring up a Resident Evil reference here. Zero, the zap system being swapped between Link and Zelda in certain areas. Now, I'm not going to go and say maybe, hey, Zelda's going to be with Link the entire way. Mm-hmm. Maybe, Zelda will do something every now and again and go off on a different way while you're Link and doing this thing. Yeah. And then maybe they do a dramatic thing where something might happen to Link and they fade to black, and then now you're Zelda doing this other thing, sort of situation. But I can kind of see it like that, because what I keep thinking in my head, how do you make a Legend of Zelda a multiplayer game? You allow people to play as Zelda, and I think that's.
Let's explore this a little bit, because some of the stuff you're saying, I'm thinking in my head, and I'm thinking. So when you play Hyrule Warriors, right? Mm-hmm. You could be on different sections of the map. And I could be Link in one section of the map, and I'm fighting and I'm doing what I want. And then with a click of a button, I switch. And let's say Zelda, I'm using Zelda in another section of the map. And the minute I switch, now I'm Zelda in that particular area. At the same time, in theory, Link is still fighting and still doing what he's doing. So it would be kind of cool to be like, hey, we're gonna storm this building, and you go right, I'm gonna go left. Or you know what, kind of like what would really be cool, and man, now that it just hit me, it's the first time I thought about this, GTA 5, when you can actually, like, you'll play as Michael and you'll go and you'll play like a certain segment, right, and then you click a button and then you gotta bounce off and you go play another person like Trevor.
Yeah, you play as Trevor,
and then all of a sudden, like, you play for Trevor for a certain point, and then you gotta bounce back to one of the other characters, and it's like, that would be really cool. Like, hey, we're going to actually pinpoint and take this down. Like, take this building down. You're going right, I'm going left. Because the one thing that I would, and I have discussed this other, the one thing that I would like is, with Link, you grow, you build powers, you find new stuff, you find new power-ups. But we've never played with Zelda before. So is that possible with Zelda? But for me, I would like to see the story of Zelda turning into Sheik. And that's the powers you're getting. You know what I mean? Like, she's maybe you go like, maybe Link is like, hey, you go over there with the Sheikah for a while and train, and I'm going to go do these missions over here. And then when you come back, she's learned some moves that then you have to go and practice and use, and you learn these different moves. Or it's just a matter of, like, maybe that's the way the story started. Like, hey, she's been training with the Sheikah, she knows a certain amount of moves, and then, by the way, she's gonna learn more moves as you go on. They just automatically unlock or whatever. Maybe it's a tree system. But because to me, I don't see Princess Zelda as, like, a warrior in terms of, like, sword and shield and all that stuff. I'm not taking anything from her, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I mean, she's got the bow, and, you can start off that being her main weapon, and then build off from there.
But Sheik, oh my god. Like, Sheik is an assassin in my mind. Like,
let her transform into it.
And that's what I would love. I would love for her to transform into Sheik, because Sheik is just ruthless. Just ruthless. So I don't know how they actually do all that.
Yeah.
But I feel like I want to be able to play as Zelda and Link at the same time and progress through the story. And I don't know how Nintendo accomplishes that, if that is the case. Let's pull a little Pat thing. What's the percentage that you think, from 1 to 100, that we get to play as Zelda?
My optimism is pretty high. I would say 75%, and the only reason I say that is Cadence of Hyrule.
Okay, and that game is spectacular. If you haven't played it, go play it.
Yeah.
So okay, so let's follow up with that question a little bit with another question. If you don't get to play as Zelda, is it A, a missed opportunity by Nintendo, and B, how upset are you by that?
Missed opportunity by Nintendo, but B, not... Sorry, I had deja vu there. We've had this conversation before. Sorry, that really messed me up. Yes, missed opportunity. Mm-hmm. Would I be upset? No. because at the end of the day, it's still going to be a Legend of Zelda game,
Yeah.
and I'm going to more than likely enjoy it regardless.
Yeah.
With that said, eh, I think it's time to also it's the perfect opportunity right here. This is like you have Zelda with Link on this adventure here.
Mm-hmm.
Why not take advantage of that?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think the only thing in my mind that's fighting me from doing that is it all depends on how they handle it. Number one. Number two, some of my most treasured moments of playing Breath of the Wild was going up into the mountains alone and hunting. And like I would legitimately go up there and just spend hours just hunting animals, getting meat, like building up my inventories, and then going down and cooking stuff up and getting a big batch of like supplies, and then go tackling a bunch of shrines or going to do a divine beast or something like that. So that would probably be the only thing, like if there would be a way to like kick her or him to the curb and be like, hey, I'm going to go do this alone for a little bit.
Yeah.
You kind of just go to sleep. Go whatever. Like if it's
there's ways that'll be able to like break away out of a match.
So. That's what I'm hoping. Like if it is like a Last of Us where you're playing is like that, the one thing about Last of Us used to drive me bonkers would be like I'm like trying to be all stealthy and stuff.
Oh my god!
And here's Ellie like running all over the place. And I'm like, what are you? You're distracting me. Like there's clickers gonna be here any minute.
Breaking immersion.
Yeah, like go lay down, man. Like you're gonna get me killed. Like go lay down.
Oh my god!
But what is it? The Left Behind, that DLC that they did, like that was more just Ellie by herself. And oh my god, that was so good. Did you ever play that Left Behind?
I got halfway through it. I never went back and finished it. I need to finish it.
Dude, it's so good.
Yeah.
The greatest part of that, I'm off on a tangent now. The greatest part of that is when there's a room you go into, and there's the people that are trying to get you, right? And then there's clickers. And you take a Molotov cocktail, and you toss it down in the room, right? And the men run to the fire, and the clickers run to the fire, and then they all start fighting each other. And you're just sitting up there watching them just die. It is amazing. Amazing.
No, thank you.
Oh, it's amazing, man. Seriously. It's like, this is, I wish this was actually in the real game, because this is amazing. Okay, so number 3. What is your third thing?
Here's where we hit Crazy Town.
Oh, boy.
Bear with me.
Oh, boy.
What if at some point oh man, this is gonna be a real bold one. It's not gonna happen. It's never gonna. Let me preface this. This is never gonna happen.
Just spit it out, man.
Ganondorf is the third person in your party.
No. Joe.
Now,
Joe, stop. Joe, stop. Stop, dude! You're trying to break my brain.
Triforce.
I know what. Stop.
At some point, there had to like.
Okay. Let's start with this. Because in order for this to play out, there's got to be more to it, right?
Yeah.
So let's say that you're right
the entire time.
No. Let's say you're right. Let's say that you resurrect Ganondorf, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he is now in your party, per se. Who's the villain?
I mean, you can pull from different people, and don't you have like Vati and like all these other wizardry?
I'm just saying, in your mind, who's the ultimate villain? Who is?
I still think Ganondorf ultimately would end up being the final boss, but I think for part of this, I would say for part of the story, let's just get real out there.
Yeah.
He's there, he's in the party. You saw the demon eyes and everything like that, but let's say he gets rejuvenated fully, and he's this amazing godlike being. Sorry, the rehydrated Ganon memes have gotten to me at this point. They're hilarious.
Good lord.
but let's say there's just something there's this aura where you saw the Calamity Ganon auras, you saw the Blight auras. There's this aura that's around that you keep seeing over and over throughout Breath of the Wild. Yeah. What if that aura just isn't in him at first, or like somewhere deep inside, deeply rooted, that is just kind of buried there and not consuming his soul as of yet? And then eventually over time he's just fighting until he eventually becomes what he actually has always been.
So it would be interesting if Ganondorf was like with. It's hard. I'm trying not to be like.
It's hard to make a story out of it.
It's not really. It's not really. I mean, it all depends on the route they go. But let's say that Ganondorf, 100 years prior, was like part of the Hyrulean Guard or something, and he was trusted. We find out that he was trusted by the king, and he just became consumed. Maybe he was out doing something, and he stumbled into this dungeon of sorts that something took him over, and this is how the Calamity started. So, in Zelda's mind, right, Ganondorf was a good guy up until the Calamity got a hold of him and converted him and changed him. So when he comes back and resurrects, they might think like, oh my god, this is Ganondorf. He was trusted by my father. He's a big thing. But maybe what we don't know, the part we never saw 100 years prior, was he actually went out looking for the Calamity to try to take the world over, and it just went wrong. So even though Zelda's trusting him, all of a sudden, even though you're working together, he's working against you. And then at some point, he does the twist. My God, we just created the greatest story ever.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, what if Ganondorf was what if in whatever story here, he was the true holder of the Master Sword? The Master Sword was meant to seal evil. What if the Master Sword somehow, corrupted him in some way, shape, or form, and that's why Link... Hold up.
Oh, here we go.
Hold up. My brain. Oh my god. Okay. Link. Clearly the name is in there. Link is the chain of courage that brings everything together and puts this story on its journey and sets it from, bad to the best ending. What if Link was a part of Ganon is a form of Ganon, links Ganon and Zelda between the two, the power and the wisdom there. You need the courage to have both. What if the only reason Link can hold that Master Sword is because Ganondorf, at the end, before he's been consumed and becomes Ganon again, somehow creates Link as the thing.
Oh boy.
Getting real out there, real wild.
Very
out there. But I'm just saying, for the sake of just wild hypotheses that will never happen.
Well, we're both wrong. That's for sure. Okay?
Absolutely.
But what I'm curious right now, if you're listening to this, you're watching this, in the comments down below, say whose theory do you believe more, or do you want to say more? Bobby's or Pat's? I mean, God,
Pat's.
Joe. That's how crazy you're talking. I got confused by who you were.
Oh my god.
Actually, I'm always so used to downing on Pat that it kind of got my mind a little warped.
I can see that.
Yeah. Okay, so what are you at? 4 now.
Number 4.
What's number 4?
I'd like to see them try something different with the ending of the game. Okay. That would lead into a trilogy for this. I treat it as the Breath of the Wild trilogy, in that maybe we don't get the happy ending that we usually get in Zelda games. What if we just leave it on a cliffhanger? I understand that Nintendo wants to focus on DLCs, and I think they can still do it the same way they did with Breath of the Wild, and where those stories all took place during the journey of Ganondorf.
Yeah.
The journey of Calamity Ganon. You can kind of do the same thing with the DLCs on this one and still have that very bad ending that leads into the trilogy.
I mean,
the third one.
I mean, technically, what you could do is you could end the game with a good ending. And then you could put out a little expansion pack and tell people, as you're putting the expansion pack out, just go, hey, we are working on Breath of the Wild 3. Straight up. And this is a holdover. This is an in-between story.
Yeah.
This expansion is an in-between story. And then, when you hit the end, that's when the cliffhanger comes up. It's all doom and gloom. And so we know, like, hey, we're going into Breath of the Wild 3. The world is destroyed, whatever it might be, and we gotta be ready to go.
Dude, this could be the Mass Effect 2 of Legend of Zelda games. Like, my hype levels are so absurdly high for this game.
Yeah,
it's
man.
Like, it's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
And whatever we end up getting at the end of the day, I will be fine with. But, why can't it be next year or the year after already, whenever this game plans on dropping?
So, wow, that's crazy to think. I mean, it could be
how yeah.
Doom and Gloom could be the way to go. Like an Empire Strikes
gets
Back.
the one and up.
Empire Strikes Back. It's the best sequel to anything, and that game or that movie ends with the world just crumbling around everybody. Luke loses his hand, finds out that Vader's his dad. Well, I'm spoiling all like crazy. My God, if you haven't,
40 years, fam.
You never know, man. You never know. My fan base can be a little young at times, and it's whatever. I apologize. But seriously, God. Like, there's that whole doom and gloom thing happening, right? Hans and Carbonite, and it's like, what are we going to do? And, like, you walk out of that theater like, what just happened? Like, I remember being a little kid walking out of the theater like, what? No, this isn't how endings are supposed to be. It's supposed to be Ewoks dancing around and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a horrible movie. Anyway. But, like, for me, I think about it and I go, like, that would be spectacular. Like, that would be amazing to have that type of cliffhanger ending. You know, kind of like Infinity Wars. Like, you think the world is good, and then, you know, Thanos does his thing, and then, like, whoa, what's going on here? You know, like,
yeah,
it's the ultimate kind of ending to parlay over to something, because you're just saying to yourself, like, the world is now destructive.
I just got chills thinking about that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, like, if this is apparently supposed to be the Majora's Mask of Breath of the Wild, as what's been quoted.
Whose quote's that?
But what I saw it on Twitter somewhere and it was a link to an interview. I feel like it was Al Numa.
Okay.
That said it.
Okay.
Someone correct me. I think it was an Al Numa
quote.
Don't
be bringing out a fake news on the show.
No. If this does end up being the Majora's Mask of Breath of the Wild, then maybe part 3, maybe they end it in such a way that Ganondorf is on top, pure evil. He's taking over the land of Hyrule. Everything's in shambles. Link in part 3 has to go back in time and that take assets from.
And that could ultimately become like this whole
the convergence of the timelines.
Yeah, well, that's not good. That's all you want, and you're just out of control. Just relax.
I'm out of control. Someone stop me.
Yeah, no kidding.
But I mean, this goes back to what you were saying earlier, where, you know, you think this is sort of like the retelling and pulling of certain Zelda games. Yeah. Why not, for that matter?
Yeah.
You know?
Because I feel like with some of the Zelda games, you do have some fantastic stories that you could pull from. And you could just take those and expand upon them, you know?
Yeah.
So I guess, you know, ultimately we'll see. Because I feel like the story in Zelda 2 is really good. And I feel like the story in Link to the Past is really good as well. So I think those two stories are what's going on. If you could pull from them, who knows? If you keep going, you do Ocarina, or, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Who knows? You know what I mean? I don't know how far any of this stuff goes or whatever. But, okay, what is your fifth and final want?
Ah, man, I ran out of wants at number 4. Jeez, number 5. Man, I think we blew our load with number 4. To be honest with you,
we've never done.
Yeah,
Just stop. Just stop. Just stop.
More Tingle. I want Tingle.
Oh, see, now you just ruined it. What's wrong with you? Tingle Island was enough. That's all you need. I wouldn't mind seeing, and I think I mentioned it. I don't know who I mentioned this to. But the one thing I would say is this: there's sections in the world that are homages to certain games, but there's nothing there.
Yes,
and Tingle
absolutely.
Island is the absolute one, is where we're thinking, right? So Tingle's not there. There's nobody there that represents, but it's obvious that like they're quasi with houses because there's like underground caves and stuff like that in certain sections. So for me, what I think is they ghosted. You know what I mean? Like they were like, "Hey man, this Calamity Ganon's coming in. I'm out. I can't do this. I'm out." It would be kind of cool to say like, "Okay, that's the case. They did ghost out, but now the Ganon's gone, and the world, in theory, has been started to be rebuilt. If when you go to Tingle Island, you actually start to see like Tingle's there, and he's rebuilding his area better. It would be kind of cool to have stuff like that in the game because that's
not to the first one, yeah.
That is my hope. You know what I mean? My hope is that this is a little bit of a time jump. You know, like 2 to 4 years, whatever it might be, between the last time we saw Link and Zelda at the end of that game. And you start to see, like...
You think so?
Oh, I definitely think so.
Yeah?
I definitely think so. I think there's a small time jump. Because I think what they're going to want to do is they're going to want to show you certain things built back up. You'll go back and Hyrule Castle will be starting to be, fixed.
Yeah.
And you'll see certain towns. You're going to see new towns that weren't there before. I think you're going to have all that stuff. I think they're going to basically expand upon what was already there in Breath of the Wild 1.
The only reason I question it is only because of the way the final ending is. If you get all the memories and Zelda's ready to go off on an adventure with Link, I'm kind of under the assumption right now that it picks up like right exactly where Breath of the Wild leaves off, because they also talk about like where they wanted to make this game to be more DLC, but then they realized there was so many ideas that that's how the sequel came about.
But you gotta also remember, the last DLC packs we got had nothing to do with that post-game stuff.
I was very upset.
And I think everybody kind of thought that. Especially, Champion's Ballad was kind of prequel-esque type stuff.
I found my number 5, by the way.
I just think that I think that it's not where... I think that there's... the other reason why I think there's a little bit of a time jump is that her hair's cut. And short. So... No, that's not saying anything. That could have been like 1 month later. She's like, "Oh, I can't stand this long hair. Cut it off."
Chop.
You know what I mean? Like, who knows? But I really, in my heart, I feel like there is a time jump, and it might only be a year. Who knows? But I think there's some type of time jump to show the world is starting to be rebuilt. They're happy with Ganon. They feel safe. You know what I mean? And that's where I feel. But you said you had a 5?
Yeah, 5. This kind of goes against what we were talking about earlier with like how we can implement DLCs without expanding the story, but having it within the confines of, point A, point B ending, and have that bad ending, but have DLC in the middle. If they don't go that route, I would like to see the DLC this time around be a little bit more meaningful. In terms of giving more story, because I mean, dude, we got more shrines, and then we got a dungeon lair, just to power up your Master Sword all the way, which is awesome. But I mean,
but it wasn't that good.
I was expecting story, and
I'm with you there. That. I definitely was expecting more story to it. If it's me, I would say I want it to be like The Witcher, where there is meaty expansion packs, where it's add-on story, and in this day and age, like Nintendo, if you're gonna play this game where you want to get involved with DLC and all that stuff, like do it right. Like there are companies out there that do the DLC correctly. Do it correctly. Go out, do an expansion, change some stuff up. Don't give me a motorcycle in a game that breaks the game. Like that's so stupid.
Yeah, there you go.
Like I don't need that stupid stuff. Like you see something in Mario Kart and you're like, that I want that in my game. No. Like just stop. Like let's pull it together. Let's take a deep breath. That's not what we need to do. We need to do stuff that means a lot. Stuff that is, like I said, storyline based. Stuff that's just like, hey, this is what we want to do with this game. We want to progress the game. Because my thing is, if you are planning on doing a trilogy, do something that progresses the storyline between 2 and 3. Give us that little push in the right direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'll see. A couple questions that I have for you.
Yeah.
Just before we end up, I've been asking people this in the final minutes just to kind of get a vibe on things. When does this game launch for you?
For me, I would say fall 2021. Metroid scared me.
We're not stop. This isn't a Metroid conversation.
I know.
Let's
I
get
know.
away from
I was
that.
going to give you my reason.
What is your reason? Why do you?
Oh yeah, no. Metroid. Metroid's the reason why that kind of scared me. As far as like, all right, I think that not scared me, but like maybe take a closer look at some of these development cycles and realize like, okay, well, if we're restarting over, we're not seeing that game for quite some while. If this game is really what they say it is, and in that they had so many ideas for DLC that they've been working on, that it drops that that they've been working on parts of this and enough to give us a gameplay teaser for this year, maybe a cutscene teaser, which seems to be the beginning of the game there. Then maybe next year we see gameplay for it a bit more, maybe, and then maybe we do a 2021. But that's I guess you can say that's the not the safe out, but the just don't want to be too hopeful.
Here's the thing. I'm not one that thinks it's coming in 2020. I do think it's coming 2021. I think it's coming March 2021. Yeah. That's been my prediction, kind of what I think it is. Mm-hmm. But that being said, I get what you're saying. I get that you're worried about they showed the logo of Metroid. That's all we got. And then we think they're making the game. They are making the game. I hope this isn't
too early.
And then it collapses. Here's a couple of things. Number one, you got to think, in the past 2 years, 3 years, whatever, they've done this 3 times, right? They did something very similar to this 3 times. They did it with Metroid Prime 4. Mm-hmm. They did it with Animal Crossing. And they did it now. 4. No. I'm saying show you.
Oh, show you. Yeah.
We're making this game. So they did it with Metroid Prime 4, where they showed the logo, whatever. Then they did it with Animal Crossing, where they showed you a trailer, kind of, a teaser trailer. And then they did it with this one, where they actually showed a trailer. Yeah. Now, you think about it. Metroid Prime, there was nothing there, just a logo. Yeah. That game got pushed aside because they were just starting development then. Yep. Animal Crossing, we got it when they said, well, they delayed it, but we definitely got it. And that was they didn't just show a logo. They basically had Tom Nook sitting in his office and talking, whatever. This one is a full-on trailer, which tells me they're at the point where they're making trailers. I think they're at the point where this game is they're into this game.
Yeah.
And they've started doing this. And, by the way, we know for a fact that Monolith Soft is working on this. And which means they're not working on another Xenoblade. And
they probably have different teams.
They probably do. But
not Xenoblade, but they're working on a new IP also.
Yeah. But we know that like when they finished with Xenoblade 2, or I'm sorry, when they finished with Xenoblade Chronicles X, they kind of jumped over and started helping with the Zelda game with Breath of the Wild, and then they were working on Xenoblade Chronicles. So I'm pretty sure they have two teams that are doing stuff. I think 2021 is a safe bet.
Yeah,
I just had that feeling that's a safe bet. I think Toby said last time he thinks it's coming in 2020, and I just feel like that's a real fast turnaround.
Yeah, I stay wary. I mean, it's the hopeful and like the, hey, we saw this trailer this year, oh, that means automatically we're going to get it next year sort of thing. And I think we've gotten into that mentality. And I think 2017 screwed us up with that.
Yeah.
Because we got real spoiled in 2017.
Well, you also got to remember, like, yeah, but you also have to remember with Breath of the Wild, they delayed the hell out of that game.
Yeah.
That game got delayed a couple of times.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's possible this game does get delayed because we do know one thing about Aonuma and about Nintendo. This franchise is their baby. And in order to do this franchise and this game do justice, you're coming off a Game of the Year caliber game. Mm-hmm. You can't, like, people have seen what you can do. They're going to expect you to ramp it up. Yeah. So I'm wondering what all they're going to do to ramp up. And it would not shock me if this game honestly gets pushed to 2022. That would not shock me. And I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't even be mad. Because I want the best possible game they can give us.
And you know what else?
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I mean, they will do all these other Zelda remakes to carry us over if that's the case.
Oh, yeah.
They have Grezzo at the back of their hand.
Yeah.
Yo, Grezzo. Okay, you're not doing Oasis 2, fam. You're doing this. Like, all right. Oh, yeah. Camelot. Don't make sports games anymore. Or Golden Sun, for that matter. Work on this.
You're nut. You're nut.
Golden Sun, goddammit.
Stop it. Relax. Do you feel in what you've seen so far with the trailer, do you feel like the trailer is true feeling of what this story is based on, or do you feel like this trailer is a swerve?
Ooh. I can't think of a time where we were swerved or tricked, to be honest with you. I'd have to go back. I mean, if I'm looking at it at face value, what I saw in my head is what we got, mm-hmm. is what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And I mean, again,
we don't know what's going to happen, but based off the trailer, we get ideas of what we think could happen.
Yeah, based off that trailer, it looks like it's going to be Ganon's castle instead of Hyrule Castle, like in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. My final question before we wrap up.
Yeah.
You're sitting there, you're watching the trailer. When you initially see everything start to unfold, in your mind, what were you thinking? New game or DLC?
In my mind, oh god, I have to think back because I posted that reaction. I thought that was new Zelda.
You thought it was new Zelda. You didn't think DLC.
Yeah, you know what? No, I thought it was a new Zelda because I was like, "Tell Guru I was right. Tell Guru I was right."
Because I thought it was DLC.
Dude,
when I saw it.
Oh man,
I thought it was DLC.
As soon as I saw the spiral and the music, I was like, is this Zelda?
Yeah. I knew, don't get me wrong, I knew that moment. When the music started playing and you see like the dragon figure, I'm like,
yeah,
that's Zelda. And then when you the next scene is you see Zelda and Link and I'm like, oh my god. But I thought it was DLC. I really did. Because I never thought that they would come back with a Breath of the Wild 2 that quickly. And I was just like, did you watch Miss Click's reaction?
No, I haven't.
Oh my god!
Oh man, is she in tears?
Yes, and she's crying, and she's like,
"That's amazing!"
And she's like, she's going, "I'm not okay. I'm not okay."
I'm not okay.
It is the best.
I love love it.
It's priceless,
oh my
man.
God.
It's priceless.
I need to see it.
You got to go watch it. It's priceless, man. Okay, so I think we're good. I mean, is there anything else that you just want to like talk about with this game, or are you?
No, man. I want to see more. Like, I guess I can like, I've been all over like trying to figure out what the hell like some of the meanings of certain things were. Like, as soon as I saw the thing about Seal Ganon,
yeah,
in the Sheikah writing, or sorry, the Gerudo writing, I was like, oh, I need to know more.
Yeah,
and then like just going back and seeing the trailer, like you see the castle rise back up. Like, man. I was like, oof. We're in for a dark story. Like,
did you think this was Twilight Princess at any point, or did you think like this is, or did you get Twilight Princess vibes? Is what I'm getting at.
I didn't get Twilight Princess vibes, but I was like, when I saw that, I was like, I wasn't 100% sure if that was Ganondorf or not at first until I actually went back and watched it. I was like, oh, okay. Like, we're getting into some serious stuff here. Like, so I know that's one of the rumors going around, is that this Ganondorf might be that the Twilight Princess Ganondorf that was sealed away from the Sword of Sages, right? I forget how the hell. I actually got to go back and like proper finish that game. Yeah. So I guess I can load up the Wii U. It's right here. It's connected. I might have to do that at some point.
There we go.
There's too many games. It's not happening this summer.
I know. There's way too many games this summer.
But yeah, dude, that would be wild if they connected in that sense. However, that just goes back to my thing of like, if we do end up acknowledging a previous timeline, a previous era of some sort, what the hell happened to the other two eras that were at this point? Like, what did this Ganondorf do that everything here, what did that Ganondorf, what did the Link from whatever and Zelda from wherever create this combustion of timelines to then come together and create Breath of the Wild? That's what I want to know. There is something there, Bobby. I am telling you, man. We'll see. There is something there. I'm gone full conspiracy theory mode on this.
We shall see. We shall see.
I've got the threads behind this green screen. Okay, I'm tracking everything.
Oh boy, here we go. So that is all. Thank you guys for checking out another episode of this special Breath of the Wild 2 Nintendo Talk that we're doing here over on the Nintendo Guru channel. Joe, thank you for joining me, man. This, I love you to death, bro. This is, it's been fantastic.
And I get to see you this weekend, right?
Yeah, man.
Is this happening?
It's happening. You better be there.
Oh, yeah.
You better be there.
I'm there. I'm there.
You're going to get to meet Josue Ponce.
Yes.
I think Jamsy's coming.
Jamsy.
Peter said he's coming. I got to message Alexa Legacy. I want her to come out.
Yeah, dude, she's chill. She's chill people.
Yeah, I owe her a couple of Amiibo cards, so it'd be nice to just, hey, here's your cards.
I'll hit her up. I'll let her know.
Yeah, definitely do that. Joe, real quick, let people know again how they can find you on the web.
Twitch and YouTube, just type in JoAfterWork, J-O, not J-O-E.
Yes, Joe everywhere. JoAfterWork everywhere.
Yep.
You can follow me, Instagram, Twitter, at Nintendo Gurus, also NintendoGuru.com. That is all. Peace out, Preston.
NintendoGuru.com.
You son of a bitch.